Hey guys, welcome to Global Trends Festival of Business Insider 2020. Really great to have you all. We have a very illustrious panel with us to discuss the future of social media in India. We have, I'm going to just make a quick round of introduction and I'll let everyone kind of introduce themselves. So starting with Prajakta Koli, also known as Mostly Sane. She is India's most loved YouTuber and creator. Prajakta, you want to just do a quick introduction for yourself?
Thank you so much, Veera. And hi, everybody. I don't know so much about the most loved creator in the country. We have a bunch of amazing creators who are doing great work, but I am very grateful that I'm here. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. So, I'm a digital content creator. I started making videos more than 5 years ago. I started in the Feb of 2015, and since then it's been a crazy joyride, but wouldn't have done it any other way. So very happy to be here.
Thank you, Prajakta. Kavin, of course, he runs one of the first, he's a founder and the CEO of one of the first unicorns from India. Right? Uh, Kavin, you want to just do a quick round of introduction about yourself?
Sure. Kavin Mittal here, founder and CEO of Hike. Been building Hike for some time. We were one of the early guys building social products in the country, and incredibly excited about building the next set of social products for India that's finally switched on and come online with over 500 million internet users. That's us, and I'm excited to join this panel today.
Okay, so the next speaker on our panel is Fareed Ahsan. He's the co-founder of ShareChat. Fareed, would love to hear your introduction from your.
Yeah, thank you, Viral. Hello, guys. I'm Fareed. I'm one of the co-founders of ShareChat. We've been around for about 5 years, and in the very recent past, we've launched a short video app called Moj. The mission of ShareChat is to keep building internet platforms for the next billion users of internet in India, and we believe that the future of the social internet in India is very bright and very different from everything that has transpired with the ecosystem till date.
So why don't we just dive in directly? Today we want to talk about the future of social media in India, and the few topics that we'll be dabbling into is, first of all, we see a wave of new users of internet. All industry bodies kind of predict at least 200 to 300 million, new users that will be joining the social media bandwagon. So how can one tap into that set of new users who will have a very different set of requirements and different set of expectations from internet? So the next 200 million users is one thing. Role of creators and influencers in this entire social media ecosystem is something which we want to talk about. And then, of course, last but not the least, what are the ways to monetize social media? What are the key challenges one faces, and so on. So why don't I start with maybe Kavin first? Kavin has been a pioneer in this ecosystem. He's the first. His company was the first unicorn in the space. Hype. So Kavin, just walk us through your experience. Right from start till now. How have you seen a shift in social media trends, consumption of content, and usage of the platforms, various platforms, and what are your sort of key learnings that you've seen in past few years that you've been part of this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fascinating to watch the market evolve so quickly in the last, especially 2 3 years. We founded Hike back in 2012. We launched Hike in 2012 December, and with the idea that we could build a internet highway gateway around messaging for a market that was mobile first, where there were so many constraints back then with 2G, expensive data, low-end smartphones, and so on. And we built that product, sort of 30, 40 million users, and realized that the market had changed, and some of those constraints that we had before no longer existed. 4G has become practically free. $2 for 30 gigs is not a joke. It's pretty amazing. And smartphones have become pretty good to a point where you can handle 40, 50 apps on your phone. And for the smartphone itself, it's become the super app, which is why a market like India doesn't need a super app, because customers don't want a super app on a super app. And unlike, China, India is open to the world in terms of building products and consuming products. So The big question we've been asking is in the last, I think, 18 to 24 months, what has truly changed? And the answer is a lot. India has always been a time rich market. And now all that time you had on your hands is not being spent in the offline world. It's now being spent online, plugged in on your smartphone. Our data tells us that people are spending 7 to 8 hours a day on their smartphones. That's half their waking life. That's incredible. And the demand for content, the demand for services, the demand for games, the demand for all these things to fill this time has never been higher. And opportunities for companies like us to fulfill that demand, that gap in this country. And the last thing I'd mention is India is not a single country. It's a country of like 20 countries. Particularly tier one and beyond, India is very, very different. I happened to be in Bhopal recently, some time back, and the airports are very fancy. But as soon as you go out, even 2, 3, 4 kilometers outside the airport, there's nothing. Very little exists. The infrastructure is still catching up in tier one cities and beyond. And also social norms in tier one cities and beyond is still catching up. The market's been pretty conservative. And so I feel like, India has some unique challenges to solve for that we're very excited about because all of these people now have access to unfettered internet. There's no worried about MBs and GBs. The smartphones are pretty good. You can download and try new applications. And I believe the demands of this country are quite unique because the challenge of offline are so unique. So we're excited about being able to build this place to hang out online, a magical and safe place to hang out online because hanging out offline is difficult. And we believe the future of social is not one big gigantic sort of social network that has a billion users, but vertical communities that are focused on 50, 60, 70, maybe 100 million users each. And that can happen in a market like India because we have over 1 billion people in this country. So excited about this space, excited about the potential, and I think we're just touching the tip of the iceberg and tip of the surface as to what's to come in the next 4 or 5 years.
Just a one small follow-up question from you. I think you guys were one of the first ones to double down on the localization bit, and some of your most famous stickers and all of that, like local sort of celebrating Indian culture in different languages. Was a really cool strategy. How did you guys come up with that idea, and how has that been kind of helpful in growth for you guys?
Yeah, we launched stickers back in 2013 and 2014, in quite some time, and very early on. So the funny thing is, stickers actually came at the back of a colossal failure that we had inside the company. We thought the path was to go after local keyboard as the way to solve for the localization challenge in India, and we spent 4 to 5 months building local keyboards, launched a new application, and it was not successful. And what we realized was that there's a QWERTY standard for English, but there's no standard for Hindi, Telugu, Malayalam. That may change a little bit, but typing in the keyboard is it's a nice. And so people want to go beyond the keyboards. And how could we build something that could enable people to go beyond the keyboard? And stickers was that idea. Could you express yourself through stickers, tapping one sticker where you could express 3, 4 words in a phrase? And that was the original idea, which started with English, then it became super local to the point where we had stickers over 40 plus languages. And that theme, by the way, is even bigger today. Beyond the keyboard, voice as a way to interact is such a big theme because the keyboards are not built for the Indian market. The keypad probably is because it's very universal, but the keyboard is not. So voice as a way to interact with experiences or images or videos, non sort of text, I think is a big theme for anyone to follow this country.
Fareed, would you like to walk us through your journey in terms of, when you guys were probably one of the few early folks to kind of double down into the Bharat side of our country, and
Yeah.
we were building for that different audience, which most of the global companies are probably not even focusing at that time. So how has that journey been, and how did you guys kind of navigate that entire journey?
Yeah, so our journey into social was very much accidental. I graduated in 2014, and one thing that we realized that the three of us, the three founders of ShareChat, that we were not good at any ops or any hard world stuff. We could build soft tech, and we could build it fast, and that's why we decided to start up and build something in software. And that's when we stumbled upon this audience for the first time, where we could see in Facebook groups, which were fan clubs of Sachin Tendulkar and all other big celebrities, that there were people putting phone numbers to get added into WhatsApp groups around that celebrity. And it was it wasn't making sense to us that why, when you are already on a Facebook group which is so large, you want to move to a WhatsApp group. And this question of why led us to understanding that this internet user is going to be different from the internet users who existed at that point. Now, at that point, India had about 150 million or 125 million internet users. This back in late 2014, early 2015, and that's when we registered our company and decided to build a destination for people to discover content in their own language and discover people in their own language. As we progressed, working on this idea, we realized that there's a need for infinite content in the longest tail of in the most niches of content available for consumption in Indian languages, and it's very hard to discover. It's the folks who are coming online were not friendly with search, because Google search was not so obvious, and then on top of this, the various aspects of the Indian internet at that point, like people were not having great smartphones. There was no 4G revolution in India, and moreover, folks had not, people used to collect together in homes, like in towns and villages. People used to collect together to watch TV. Like five friends which would watch one channel together at one time. And we envisioned that someday all of these people would have a smartphone in their hands, and maybe we will go to 4G and 5G, and at that point all of these people will want a personalized TV. And when you want a personalized TV, when you're saying that everyone's going to look for content of their own choice, that means a lot of creators will also pop up for the first time, and hence there would be need for a platform who can marry the relevant creators content with the relevant consumer or viewers time. And that is what led to ShareChat. Of course, one of our first and earliest learnings was that people love to share content onto WhatsApp, because WhatsApp used to work very well on the patchiest of internet connections, on the on the worst of smartphones, right? And hence that's why we started ShareChat. And as the name says, that share to chat, that's why we called it ShareChat. We actually we thought that we'll change the name someday, but we grew so rapidly that we never got a chance to change that name. Yeah, and then as we were progressing, we saw that if you put English as an option, a lot of people pick up English because English has a high aspirational value. We probably have not come out of a colonial hangover yet. A lot of us Indians still consider English to be a superior language. Even this discussion right now, while we can all speak Hindi or other languages, we are having it in English. So while English definitely does unify a diverse population by becoming that trade language, that functional language, it doesn't really give you the kick, as we can say, when you are consuming content or when you are trying to entertain yourself. That's the reason why Sacred Games did so well on Netflix than any other show in India, right? So we understood that there are a bunch of reasons why why Facebook or other Western social media would not be able to grow so rapidly in India. And that's why we started. And so far the thesis has seemed to be correct, but hoping for and looking forward to more challenges coming our way from this new internet user.
Are you looking at the next wave of internet users in a different fashion? Do you guys have any thoughts, strategies to kind of move those users onto your platform, or you just plan to continue the way I would say?
Yeah, so we saw a full transition from 80% content being in text and 10% being in video to 60% being video and 30% being image and probably 10% being text. Even the images that if you look closely, about 50% of them would be text on top of backgrounds. So what necessarily happened was that the content which was probably a text shairi became a text shairi on top of a photo background, and now it has become the creator reciting the shairi themselves, or probably the shairi becoming an audio note, and somebody making a Moj video or a TikTok video using that shairi to convert it into video. So the context hasn't changed, the format has become more multimedia heavy, and I think it's going as we have better infrastructure, better smartphones, better computing power in the hands of every single consumer. We will have even more richer formats getting born, whether that's AR, VR, or I do not know. There are a lot of them can look like snake oil terms today. But yeah, as we keep moving forward to a larger internet economy, the paradigm shifts will continue to happen, and it will become more richer and richer. But the context, the fact that sacred games does well, will continue to exist.
Awesome. Prajakta, coming to you, how are you looking at the role of the creator, or an influencer? I don't know which term you prefer, but how do you look at creators, and how do you see their role in setting up the current social media economy, and just the way forward? Like, would love to hear your thoughts about you being part of this industry and leading this part of the industry, and how do you look at yourself for the next few years?
I think it is beautiful how the platform has grown for creators, for individual creators especially, for people like me whose full-time job is to get up every day and create videos and create content. आंटियों को समझाने में कभी कभी दिक्कत तो जाती है, where they just like कि मतलब करते क्या हो, but I'm just glad that it's got to a place where aunties like अच्छा देखते हैं बेटा तुम्हारे वीडियो. So that has been a very big win for me, because when I started off, being a YouTuber wasn't a thing, being a creator wasn't a thing. I mean, you could be one, but then you had to have a job, on the side. But thanks to this mad internet boom that happened, like everyone's talking about a couple of years ago, since then life has changed completely for creators. The good thing about a platform, any platform on the internet, honestly, is that the more creators get there, the more viewers come, the more brands come. It's literally more the merrier, which is a great thing for both brands and consumers and creators. Going forward, I really wish I knew how it's going to be, because it's not like 5 years ago I saw this happening at all. Because when I started off, मतलब मेरे को लाइफ में बस 30,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स चाहिए थे, क्योंकि मेरे दिमाग में ये प्रोसेस ही नहीं हो पा रहा था कि 30,000 से ज्यादा लोग क्यों आएंगे मेरे को देखने को. Like, I just couldn't, because I didn't know that, and now we're talking about 150 million people on the internet. I mean, it's crazy. It is not something any of us saw coming 5 years ago. But we knew that it came for the better, mostly, and did well for all of us. So I'm hoping that moving on also, I don't think any of us can map exactly. I mean, there's only so much numbers and statistics can tell us, but especially in a country like India, with the audience is so dynamic, with the audience behavior is so dynamic, there is no way you can sort of know कि अच्छा this is what is going to happen. I know that I like the direction it's going into, where now it's sort of disseminating into different arenas, where it's not just people who create content. It's not like that anymore. Honestly, if I speak for myself, I feel so happy about the fact that today, if I want to make a song, I can do that. Today, if I want to make a short film, I can do that. I If I want to be in a show on an OTT platform, I can do that. It is all these doors have just opened up for me as a creator beyond what I have been doing for 4 years, and I feel like that will just 5 years, and I feel like that will just keep increasing more and more in the years coming forward. But speaking of how the audience has changed or anything, I think as a creator, for me, honestly, more than how much newer audience we've got, or how they have changed. I think the audience behavior has changed drastically, especially in lockdown. I just feel like जो फुर्सत आ गई है लोगों के पास बहुत सारी एकदम से, that made a huge difference. So there's a possibility that maybe, like, if and I'm strictly speaking for myself, there could be a possibility that even if zero new people got added to my channel, there still was a whole shift that I had to make in treating my content and producing it in a different way, because the behavior changed drastically. Like, the attention span changed, the time people were spending on each app changed. Like, all the ideas that we had of Instagram or an app like Moj, or or YouTube or stuff like that, like जो भी हमने इतने सालों से सोच के रखा था, everything changed. So I feel like there is no way you will know what is going to happen tomorrow and how the content game digitally is going to change. All I know and I'm hoping for is going to change and keep changing for the better.
Thanks. I think moving on to the next sort of part of the discussion, which is more about monetization. Again, we can pull up to your your thoughts, Kevin. One of the things you've always said is that the users are kind of easier to in India, and one can quickly bank on the internet side of India, and of course localization and all of that kind of skills that users. But monetization is one of the big areas, focus areas for you guys, as you also have launched Pipeline recently, kind of very relevant for the current COVID times. Um, how do you look at monetization, and what are the key challenges and opportunities in front of you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Um, you know, Initially when we were building the super app, the mentality was, let's go build scale, big scale, and then we'll go figure out how to monetize. And I feel like that mentality has changed in the last couple of years because of one reason, which is, one reason that's compounded on many, but the key reason is payments have become extraordinarily seamless, to a point where microtransactions can happen in weeks today. It's incredible how far that's come. And we've never been a fan of the ad business model. We think it sort of makes for a bad user experience. We think the ad business model is also built for older experiences with feed and so on and so forth. As you're building brand new experience, you're building a virtual world, the ad model is not sort of what is going to drive you forward. And ads also put sort of the customer at the center and make the customer the product. Then your whole purpose becomes extracting as much data from the customer as possible so you can make a lot of money. And I think in a market like India as well, it's ads is going to take a little bit of time. The CPM per user is still pretty low. It's sort of where China was 7-8 years ago. And no doubt one day that's going to become pretty big. But we're very excited about building a virtual economy online. We're big believers that customers will pay if you build something valuable, and customers will pay in microtransactions. And through all our study that we've done, we've seen that India has this new consumer classification system now, the NCCS, that talks about A to A3 all the way down to E1 to E3. And a lot of our customers are in tier one, and a lot of our consumers are in tier one and tier two cities. And we can see that even with sort of B2, B3, and C1, these people have 1,000 rupees to spend every month in pocket money. And for anyone to be able to build a successful business that's very exciting in India, you don't need more than 20, 30, 40 million people paying you $1 a month. That's a very exciting business. And that dollar is about 70 rupees. That's about 7% of the 1,000 rupees sort of pocket money or whatever people have every month. So I feel like the power to spend is there because India's scale is so big. Low ARPU, big scale, as you've seen in most industries. And all you got to do is build something valuable. And because self-worth is moving online so fast in this country, because people are spending time online, people are not just spending time curating their online selves, but also starting to spend a little bit of money curating their online self. So that's one. I think second is a much more radical thought, but we're excited about this, which is it is fascinating to see all these social media companies grow at the back of all this customer data, at the back of my data, your data, but I don't get a cut. Where's my cut? Where's my 20% of the money you're making off me? And we really believe that this idea that customers being owners of their data, customers being owners in the value chain is a radically new idea that we're pursuing. Where why can't customers be owners in the business and sort of also participate in a little bit of the upside that the network and the product has to offer? And I believe this is going to be a big theme actually. I think across the globe in the next 4 or 5 years, especially in a market like India where the disposable income is so low and people are finding ways to earn more money. So virtual economy because payments have become seamless through microtransactions and this idea that customers can become owners and ride the upside of a product in a network.
Great, thanks. Farid, I'm going to have to again pose this question in English. Sorry for that, since it's a global platform. Uh, but just to kind of would love to know your thoughts on monetization, and how is it hard monetizing Indian language users? I mean, traditionally one looks at other media, and one tends to have like lower CPMs and CPRP for language users and language channels and content. Do you see that happening in your world as well? And are there other sort of avenues of monetizing you are exploring?
Right. So we are not against any sort of monetization. I think in a low ARPU economy, it's important that you're able to build revenues in a way which is win-win for everyone. Whether it's the platform, whether it's the consumer, whether it's the brand who wants to come in, and when we talk about advertising, if you look at how the advertising has been split, 90% of the advertising that you were seeing on digital media up until like 2 years ago was in English, while when you look at traditional media, TV, print, radio, 90% was not in English, it was in the Indian languages. And this huge jump in the number of Indian language consumers on the internet in the last 5 years has led to the brand and the advertiser thinking to also adopt digital media. So while the internet user, the consumer, adopts the internet very easily as data becomes cheap, for brands to adopt digital media, it's still a longer journey. Moreover, when you look at how ads have worked in the past, the cost of production of video has gone down drastically. YouTube was a search engine, and it was very important because in the early days it was very hard to make videos, moreover upload them and then discover them, search them, find them over the internet. But as making videos becomes easier, you have better tools, like as Prajakta pointed out, that we have all the creators have better tools to participate in any kind of content or any kind of interactive activity with their followers. When that happens, I believe brands would also start evolving and adopting these practices, and hence the cost of even creating a better branded ad would come down. And I honestly feel that ads are not necessarily going to hurt your UX. Like if we look at the recent cred ads, all kudos to Kunal Shah, those are amazing ads, right? And that doesn't hurt my experience. I actually was looking forward to the next ad. Like we've had three, where's the fourth one, right? So I do not think that ads as a model is something which works against the user experience. Of course, a lot of people make pathetic ads, and that's why that's just like pathetic content, right? You make pathetic content, people will stop following you. That's something which the brands are also understanding. So I do believe that ads are going to be one of the biggest ways to monetize this audience, and I don't see a lot of gap, as a lot of people predicted that this internet user will probably not adopt newer platforms, or this internet user will probably not pay online. Those things, those shackles that we have bound our heads around have are starting to break. People are paying online, and I believe micro payments, of course, will definitely be a huge trend. The the combination of ads and micro payments will eventually lead to a better commerce driven community, which will lead to the economy that Kavin was talking about. Most of these platforms, people like us, or Hike, and all of these platforms will eventually become communities with their own economies, where there are creators, there are admins, there are brands, and there are consumers. And they were and I think that's honestly how a platform should be defined, that the net number of transactions or the net GMV of the platform is way larger than what the platform actually can monetize. And I think to do that, you will need all three parts. You will need ads, you will need micropayments, and you will need commerce.
Well said. Uh, Moving on to Prajakta, would love to hear your thoughts, Prajakta, on how are you looking at uh, finding that balance? And I'm sure a lot of brands approach you for helping them out spread their message. How do you find balance between your content and the brand messaging? And you do that pretty well across various platforms. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on how you do that.
I think, like we've been discussing, I think at least on a digital platform, the age of, wow, have you seen this lipstick? It looks so good on me. You should try it out. Here's my discount coupon. I feel like we're over. Those are the pathetic ads you're talking about, Farid. I feel like our users are over it. They are not going to accept it unless this is again a different route that you take, where it's sarcasm or it's spoofy or it's a comical take. Otherwise, it's not going to work, especially on a digital platform, because you know. For creators like me, we put our life out there. It's a much more honest conversation that we have with our audiences, where they see where we live. We don't. There are days when we are in our pajamas and we post pictures, and everything is a more personal conversation that happens. Um, so I feel like when the relationship builds on a foundation like this with your viewers, it gets very difficult for you to sell things and make it look like oh, it's content. It's a very fine line. But again, I think for me personally, I believe more in collaborations. I love that word, and I love how that helps the brand and my channel. It is extremely important for me to meet the brand midway, to obviously give the brand what they expect out of the money that they're investing, but at the same time not compromise on any of the brand, on any of the communication that goes up on mine. Because on most times, if it's a bad integration, um, it's going to affect the creator for a much, much, much longer time. I mean, there are a couple of very, very horribly placed brand videos I did in 2019, and they dent my channel to the day, where I'm still trying to recover from the damage that they did. So we have a lot, both the brand and the creator both have a lot at stake when you're doing a brand video, which is why it's extremely important to make it a conversation which is collaborative. I mean, the brand knows the brand better than the creator does, but the creator knows the audience better than the brand, their audience better than the brand does. And I feel like just reaching a place where both of them understand. So Bu Nick, who is also a YouTube creator, and I love his content, he's one of my closest friends. He said something to me, and I follow that all the time, and I would like to share that here. So he says that every time, Prajakta, you write a brand video, after your script is ready, just remove the brand from it. Does the video still work? If it does, then it's a beautiful placement. That way the brand works seamlessly well. Your video works on its own. The brand gets the viewership that the brand paid you for, and your viewers get the entertainment that they come to you for. I feel like that is the balance that sort of, and you don't always get it right. I mean, it's very sweet of you to say that I do it really well, but I really don't. There are some days when I'm just like, oh boy, I did not see that coming, where it's just a horribly placed. But sometimes it's just, and I feel like honesty works a lot with our audiences, because our audience is very smart. So, like I said, that, oh, excuse me while I just drink this 100% mineral water. Like, that is not going to work. Instead, if you make it a conversation, like, guys, so I'm collaborating with this brand, and they've sent me like a bottle of water, and I'm going to try drinking. Like, the more honest the conversation is, it just works a lot. Another thing that has helped us is that the audience also because we are so desi and we are Indians, we love freebies. We love giveaways. So if there's like a little bit of something for our audience also that, hey guys, so I'm collaborating with this brand. I do a lot of these giveaways with Nevi, where I'm like, okay, I'm with this brand and here's another giveaway. So they like the fact that their favorite creator is collaborating with the brand because there's something in it for them also. So I feel like just a gesture of inclusion goes a long way. So here are like these are just a few things that we have in mind when we're doing like a brand collab. Also, I think it matters a lot, at least to me, what the brand ideologies are, what does the brand stand for, what has the brand spoken up for. I mean, I know for a fact that I will, because not just because of that, but I will never work with a brand that promotes fairness, or I will never work with a brand that talks about, you know, perfect body and things like that, because those are not things that I as a creator stand for. That is not what my audience recognize. That's also not someone who I am as a person. So I feel like a lot of those factors also come in when you're deciding a brand collab.
Awesome. You read my mind. That was going to be my question about like how do you choose your brands, but that's pretty much what you answered. So, do you think is there a change in the post-pandemic sort of era, right? Like, is there
Are we
from a
in a
creator's perspective
post-pandemic
again?
era?
I mean, we are already in the pandemic, and I think the reality is that this is post-pandemic, as post as it gets. But I
Oh man.
think, yeah, we are in the pandemic world of pandemic or whatever you want to call it. In this COVID era, let's just say that. Do you see a change in your demand for the brand collaborations? Do you see a change in the kind of amount of monies that they would pay you? Is there any sort of
Hmm.
trend that you're seeing emerging in this world?
I mean, honestly, if you look at it very objectively, the creator ecosystem has really just grown many folds in during lockdown. You know, like I said, like a lot of people started spending a lot of time watching content, a lot of creating more content. uh, I started creating more content than I was before the lockdown started. My Instagram sort of just took off during the lockdown. My YouTube numbers, I tried to do a lot of new things. I tried to experiment with content, with production, with treatment. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. But the one that worked sort of gave me more audiences, gave me sort of like a push in the numbers. Um, so honestly, it has definitely uh, helped even when it comes to brand collabs, because the reach is a little bit more, the impressions are a little bit more, the views are a little bit more. So it has been great. We have one of the things that I liked was that now suddenly when the lockdown started, brands sort of also very quickly adapted to the way of content creation that happened, because most of us were stuck at home. So every time there was a brand collab happening, I used to always make sure that I tell them in the first conversation that, listen, if you're expecting a highly produced video, I'm not going to be able to do it. You know, I have very limited equipment and I'm alone at home. I don't have a DOP. I don't have my team shooting for me. So this is the treatment we can give. And the brands were okay with sort of taking another route to make sure that the communication goes through, which I liked, which sort of kept the brands coming. Because if that was a barrier कि नहीं भैया हम ऐसे ही shoot कर सकते तब then so it was nothing would have gone through. We wouldn't make a video in the first place. So communication has definitely changed. Brands are looking at new ways of creating content, new ways of it's a massive best out of waste project, you know, where whatever little you have, how do you make the most of it? But at the same time, there are so many videos that I did during the lockdown, which would not have worked as well if I did them well produced. You know, the fact that they were more candid, the fact that they were more real and more simple sort of worked better for the brand. So I feel like definitely things are changing, and I mean the quicker we adapt to whatever this phase is, pandemic, post-pandemic, COVID, you know, survival, whatever this is, I feel like the brands and creators are quickly adapting to it, and that is making a huge difference in keeping the business afloat for sure.
Awesome. Cool. I think we've touched upon all the issues that we wanted to talk about in today's time. Um, I think we're kind of running out of time, but would love to hear your parting thoughts. Maybe we can start with Kavin and then Farid and then Prajakta. Any quick sound bites from you guys to just from future crystal ball gazing to anything that you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, since we've been talking about the market, I'm just going to summarize it by saying, I mean, the market is huge. It's so big. I remember building when the market, and Free will echo this too, when the market was 40, 50 million users. The market today is comfortably over half a billion users. And even 10% of that is 50 million people. So there is no better time to build something.
Yeah.
And the demand for new kinds of content and services, because the market is so diverse, has never been stronger. So, if you're thinking of starting up, who was watching this is the time. And it's also never been cheaper to start and launch a product. With all the tools out there, cloud services, it has never been cheaper to start a startup. So this is the time to be building something for this country.
Fareed?
Yeah, I completely agree with Kavin there, and what I'll probably say is that if for people who love science fiction and who've watched Rick and Morty, they would have seen an episode where they talk about interdimensional TV, and what's the coolest feature about that TV is that it has infinite channels from infinite dimensions, and I think that's where we are headed as as a social network or a social media ecosystem where we'll have infinite creators serving infinite, like seemingly infinite users, and then leading to an if not infinite but a very large number of possible ways of monetizing, engaging, or just simply enjoying time, right? And I think we are on the cusp of this great revolution, and the pandemic has just pushed nudged us further in that direction more rapidly. So looking forward to greater challenges and great competition as well, and a better ecosystem for both creators and consumers.
Prajakta?
I think I would just like to add on to what Fareed and Kavin said. Honestly, as a creator, I would like to tell other creators that when we started off, we had this like pyramid in mind that here's the top creators, and then we have creators who are slightly lesser numbers, and then these are people who start, and we always had this pyramid in mind. I feel like there is no pyramid right now. It's become a globe because you don't know. The numbers have become so dynamic, and it's not even. I feel like it's not even a measure anymore. It's not even a metric to tell who's a good creator, who's a bad creator. In a country like India, where content is changing, choices are changing every day. Newer and newer people are emerging on the internet. I mean, there could be someone who is a fitness freak and they do not even know in their existence, in their universe of content, I do not even exist, and maybe they watch someone who does not have as many numbers as me, and that suddenly does not matter because then that creator is the top of their pyramid for them. So I just feel like Kavin said, if you're starting off, it really is, there is no better time. I mean, there is nothing, there's no place where you have to fight for the numbers and you have to fight for the views. You just have to deliver what your audience likes watching, and carving your own niche suddenly becomes like um, something that was much easier than we thought it would be 5 years ago. So yeah.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being part of this great conversation. It was really nice to hear your thoughts about the present and the future of social media in India. India, of course, the opportunity is massive, and it's too big to be ignored. Uh, there is a lot of room for every one of us, and and then the good part is we've just gotten started. And we believe that India is a gateway to Asia and rest of the world. We can build in India and scale to the rest of the world, which is really awesome. And hence the future is looking really bright. Uh, Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Kavin. Thank you, Fareed. Thank you, Prajakta, for being part of this awesome conversation. Hope you enjoyed your chat, and good luck for future.